Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Luxury Fridays. I'm your host, Michael LaFido, fresh from coming back from New York and the Inman Connect conference. Some really powerful people in real estate there, and from all over the world. Talked to some people from South America to Canada to West Coast, you name it. Talked to somebody from Italy, which is pretty cool. So I wanted to just touch base with everybody and give you an update, not just on that conference, but also as we are almost out of January and into February. How are things trending 1 month into 2023, the year of Michael Jordan? I call it the year of Jordan, 2023. How are things trending? So, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in. Again, coming to you live, and those of you that are watching this replay, I'm your host, Michael LaFido. If you're getting value from this event and other live streams we've had, please leave us a like, leave us a review. We'd greatly appreciate that. And from time to time, we will have guests on this weekly live stream. Today, we're going to be recapping not just a conference, but we're also going to go into some uh, some early indicators that I'm talking to some financial analysts. I'm following a lot of influencers, if you will, in the mortgage and finance industry as well as real estate. And there's going to be definitely some turbulence in some markets. Some markets might see some slight appreciation, and some will see some depreciation. Those particular markets are going to be uh, markets that appreciated out of control the last few years. I was today just talking to somebody whose daughter is going to be buying a home in the Milwaukee suburbs. And a year ago, they were looking, and interest rates, as you know, were a lot less. And the problem is their debt to income ratio, the amount of home they can buy because rates are so much higher, is really gotten smaller. So for those people that are doing fine and they're buying well under their means, the interest rates will not affect your actual loan amount, how much you can get a mortgage take out. And but this particular buyer, they were maxed, they were strapped as far as their loan to debt ratio, and they were actually buying a home that's much smaller than if they would have bought a home a year ago. So that does happen. I want to talk to you about some technology that's pretty cool as well, with thermal imaging and home inspections, and seeing some really cool things with thermal imaging today. That is something that that I wanted to cover as well. And then the other thing I want to talk to you about is, uh, we are going into 11 straight months. There's been 11 straight months of home sales declining. But the good news is, as I mentioned, so 11 straight months. So overall across the country, 11 straight months. But again, real estate is hyper local, right? And so don't hit the panic button. Depending on which markets you're in, wherever you're watching, there are a lot of indicators that home prices will appreciate in several markets this year. Some markets will be stable and some markets will depreciate. So don't hit that panic button, but we have hit 11 months straight of home sales depreciating. Recently I put a home on the market of a good friend, and they had three offers, two above asking price. And again, how do you create urgency? We're going to talk about how do you create urgency right now in a stale market, or in a market even perhaps when there is some inventory that is sitting, but overall it could be a strong market or at least a balanced market. How do you create urgency? That's one thing that I think is really important when choosing which agent to market your home. Or if you are an agent, I think it's important to be able to articulate that when you're sitting across the kitchen table from a potential seller. I want to talk to you about value today. I want to talk to you about value. Think about the car. Think about cars, right? So when you go to trade in a car, when you go to sell a car, that dealership doesn't care if you had to replace a windshield a few years ago. They don't care if you had to replace the windshield wipers, or You got the upholstery cleaned, professionally detailed, or the tires were replaced recently, because those are all maintenance items. The cost of the car, Kelly Blue Book value, isn't more because you took care of maintenance items. Well, it holds true with your house, or when you go to sell a house. Many times I'll have sellers talk about all these things that they've done, and they expect to get those investments back out when they go to sell. Well, when you go to buy a car, you expect the windshield not to be cracked, the wipers to work properly, the tires not to be bald. You expect those things. And if not, you're going to subtract substantially off of your purchase price, not just the cost of those, but for your time, right? You're going to have to go get the replacement, replace the window and change out the tires and get the interior detailed. You're going to charge for your time as well as charge for the cost, and you're going to deduct those. So again, unfortunately, you do those things, you can't ask more. But if you don't do those things, you're going to probably attract lower offers, and you're going to have to be priced below market value. Same thing with a house. You can't live in a home and not maintain it, not paint, not keep up with things. You can't, and then all of a sudden throw lipstick on a pig and throw some fresh paint and upholster, clean the carpets or throw new carpeting in and think you're going to get top dollar. That is a big misconception. I want to talk about communication right now. Communication. This is kind of like speed topics today. Speed topics before we get into the actual recap. Before we get into the recap of the Inman conference, the last topic I want to talk to you about is communication. Some of you know a few weeks ago I went on 4 listing appointments that totaled about $65 million. We went on a 29 and some change. We went on a 22.9, a 7.5, and a 5.4. And communication is key. Communication is key. There's a gentleman that I'm mentoring, and that's one of the things that I was talking about is people forget what you say, but they'll never forget the way you make them feel. And people don't care how much you know until they know you care. And so nobody owes you anything. This agent kind of felt like he was owed something because he worked hard. And I had to correct him, not in front of the prospective client, but I said, just know that nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes me anything. And so one of the things he said to a potential client is, I've been working hard. You owe me the opportunity to sell your home. And so I told him, what you should have said is, I've been working really hard for you. I've already done A, B, C, and D. Although you don't owe me anything, I hope I've earned the respect and trust of you, and that I have a great work ethic. And I hope that you'd give me that opportunity. You see, the same message that is much softer and it's not going to repel a potential client. But again, be a chameleon when you communicate with others. When I say a chameleon, you have to adapt to your environment. If you're talking to somebody fast, you can't be really slow and thorough and pull out, a large, long presentation. You're going to lose that person. Okay. So you want to be a chameleon. You have to adapt to your environment. Talking to another agent, she just sent a proposal to a high-end client, a nice video. She got all dressed up, and the client didn't even acknowledge the video and just answered with a simple, 1 or 2 word reply. And she was offended by that. I said, don't be offended. Many busy, especially in this case, high net worth sellers, they're not going to watch the video. They just want to bullet point out. Their time is very important. So that is something that I wanted to talk to you about today. The other thing I want to talk to you about is you need to be prepared for a potential client if they send back some kind of email that's very thorough, and if they send back a very thorough email, then you're going to probably have to be thorough in your response, right? And so that's going to be really important. A lot of these people are very thorough. I had a guy send an email recently, and the way he responded, uh, the way he responded is his email signature was pretty self uh, self I guess it's self-explanatory. His email signature basically says, I don't need lip service. If you're going to try to share with me how you're different, I want to see the results. Show me your results. And in so many ways, that's what that email signature said. And so he didn't want lip service. He didn't want lip service. All right. Those of you that are just jumping on, Michael LaFido here, Luxury Fridays. No guest this week, but if you're watching a replay, feel free to go back. You can go to our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is Marketing Luxury Group, or with YouTube now that they have hashtags, or excuse me, you know, you can find me at Luxury Specialist, youtube.com/at Luxury Specialist, and that's my handle at Luxury Specialist. All right, so take a look at our YouTube channel if you're just tuning in, or if you are watching a replay and you want to see previous guests. I had a great guest last week. He talked about how to peel yourself off the mat when you hit rock bottom. Really talked about the mindset. What you focus on expands. We are really excited. We're going to be launching a new book, Secrets of Top Luxury Agents. If you're interested in finding more information about that, shoot me a note, shoot me an email. But we're going to be launching that, going to be coming out this in the next few weeks. We're going to have openings. It's going to be application only. Secrets of Top Luxury Agents. We're going to share with you how to leverage a book as well, which is maybe just as important. Again, if you need some luxury swag, our store can be found at luxuryspecialistgear.com, luxuryspecialistgear.com. And then finally, we are excited. We're a little over 60 days away, and we have an upcoming event coming in Cabo. It's going to sell out, folks. It's going to be in a right by the ocean, the water. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be on Friday, March 31st. We have the venue. Our website will be updated today with the actual venue, but you can go to luxurydesignation.com for more information. All you got to do is go to luxurydesignation.com to sign up and to get more information. We have special early bird pricing. So go to luxurydesignation.com. It's on your screen, luxurydesignation.com. And we're really excited about that. And it's about 60, 62, 63, 64 days away. Our countdown clock will be added once we get to the 60-day mark. So we're really excited about that. That's our next in-person designation training. As always, you can go to our website there, luxurydesignation.com. You can see more information on Lux, on our resources, coaching, consulting, and my upcoming events, press and PR, and our contact information. So take a look there. March 31st, it's going to be here before you know it. And let's get into the topic for today. The topic for today is I just got off a plane last night, coming back from New York at a real estate conference. And guess what? There's a lot of optimism, but there's a lot of people that are talking about changes going on in the industry. There's big companies cutting back, a lot of layoffs, mortgage, title, and of course, brokerage level. They're cutting back because they are anticipating a leaner year. So that, that is the reality. There's going to be some real estate markets that trend upward that are going to appreciate this year. Some will, unfortunately, go down. Some will stabilize. So that is the reality. It's supply and demand right now. Overall, there's still not a lot of supply, which is keeping prices pretty steady or going, above asking price, like the one that we just put under contract, above asking price. So that's important. We're talking about luxury on the show. let's talk about luxury buyers. Luxury buyers, uh, with interest rates being a little bit higher, they're going to try to avoid taking out a mortgage because there's so much volatility in the market and perhaps a global recession. Luxury buyers they typically like using their equity in their investments, right? So uh, they could either sell off investments or they can take out a loan against their investments. And so what you're going to see is you're going to see these luxury buyers work a little bit smarter. So perhaps if they're looking for something in a secondary home to go skiing or snowmobiling, something like Aspen, Colorado, you might see them buy something not in Aspen, but at another ski resort where they can get a better value and the property's got a better chance of appreciating because it's not at the peak. If they want something warm, something with a beach, instead of buying something like in Santa Barbara, California, you might see them buying something a little bit south, like something in San Diego where they can get a better value. So this is what you're going to see from the luxury buyer. Many people are stating in 2023, working a little bit smarter, a little bit more creative. And, that's kind of what I wanted to cover today. So I want to see if there's any questions. I'm going to open up any questions for anybody. If you're watching, tell me where you're watching from. We have people watching on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and LinkedIn and various accounts. Let me know where you're watching. Anybody have any questions? All right, our podcast. We just released our most recent podcast. I want to share that with you. Let me share that with you. I want to share with you my screen again, our podcast. Before I share with you my podcast, I want to share with you our store. This is our store. If you want some luxury swag, some luxury gear, all you got to do, it's going to be coming up on the screen. All you got to do is go to luxuryspecialsgear.com. These are some of my favorites. This is kind of one of our most popular, our flagship is our luxury specials, but I love wearing a location. People know you're in real estate when you wear that. This is my American luxury shirt, which I designed. Love that. And so these are some of the examples on our, women's. We have plenty of women's sizes and different styles as well. Luxury CEO. It's not the market, it's the marketing. Refuse to lose. Location. Prove them wrong. Okay, so take a look at those. And we have some great sweatshirts, both men and women's hoodies. Okay, different colors, different examples. I like this one here. Does it have different colors? Well, yeah, it does. You got navy or you have charcoal. So there's different options as well. So all you got to do is go to luxuryspecialsgear.com, luxuryspecialsgear.com. All right. Let me share with you my podcast here. So let's do resources. We drop down. Here's our podcast. You go to our podcast here. You'll see our latest podcast, episode 226 with Colin. He's out of Coeur d'Alene, and he talks about how he creates urgency, in Idaho. Okay, so how to create urgency and stack showings in a slower market. He's episode 226. Episode 224 had Ben Anderson on. 222, we're talking about safety. This gentleman, episode 220, Q Sims, he had a floor call with a buyer by the name of Rich, and his wife's name was Greedy Millions. And the other people in his office did not want to work with Greedy Millions because they thought it was a fake buyer. Well, guess what? It wasn't. Guess what? This guy has made well over $50,000 in his career because these people have bought multiple properties. And again, our podcast is just Luxury Listing Podcast. Luxury Listing Podcast. So those are some of the things I wanted to share with you today. Again, treat all people with respect and equally. You don't know where your referral is going to come from. It hurts to get kicked in our shins in this industry. You log in to Facebook, somebody listed their home and they didn't hire you, or a past client listed with somebody else. That recently happened to me. I want to share that with you, okay? On how a recent client who I had tried selling their home probably 4 or 5 years ago didn't sell. They still haven't put it back on the market, but they did have another investment property that they sold with another agent. I get a call from this gentleman, and he wanted to know about this street that I have a $6.5 million home on in Naperville called Donwood. It's off of Hobson and Donwood. Beautiful home. I actually toured our Lux designation class that we had in Chicago last year. I toured them through it, and long story short, it's a gorgeous home. And this buyer called and said, "Hey, I'm not necessarily interested in that home, but we lost out on another one that was on that street. What can you tell me about the area?" There was nothing directly in it for me on the surface. German, good day. Great to see you, bud. Thanks for being on here. There was nothing directly in it for me. All indications are he sold that last property with another agent. He would sell his others with the same agent. But hey, lead with a giving hand. Had a good conversation, expected nothing in return, brought enough value to that conversation, asked enough questions where I realized, guess what? This buyer was also looking in some other areas where I had in a price point of $3 to $6.5 million. And so I showed him a $6.5 million home last week. Gorgeous property. And then I got him to sign an exclusive buyer agent rep agreement. And guess what? I showed him other properties. Tomorrow I'm taking him out to see a 3.5, a 3.5, and a 6.5. And the one that he said he wasn't interested in, I shared with him some more info, and he wants to see that 6.5. So you just don't know. You bring value to people, good things will happen. I call that the boomerang client. They come back to you. I sold a home in Wheaton for $1 million, and that person went with another agent originally. I continued. I didn't burn any bridges, and he came back and bought another home. So you just don't know where your next deal is going to come from. Treat everybody equally, and good things will happen. That's really what my message is for today. Love is love. That is important. Treat everybody. My people that are religious, my Christian people, my whatever religion you are, love is love. Treat everybody equally. Coexist means you also coexist with people that vote differently than you as well. And that goes to people on both sides. So that is my message to you. Keep raising the bar. And I'm really excited for our next few episodes. Take a look at them. Got some really exciting guests coming on that we'll be announcing. Again, the best way for you guys to find out about when my next training is going to be, as far as this Luxury Friday, is go to my YouTube channel and hit that little red subscribe button. Or from periodically, if you want to manually do, just go to youtube.com/Luxury Specialist. And when I plan to go live, you'll see that announcement. You can go to luxuryfridays.com and see it on the bottom here, luxuryfridays.com, or go to our YouTube channel. So some exciting things, some exciting partnerships we're going to be announcing. Real big announcement coming up here in February. So I'll keep you posted on that. And yeah, so thanks, German. Exactly. Try to bring value to people. If you bring value to people, good things will happen. Maybe not immediately. People are looking for that immediate button or that. That was easy. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to build value, continue to bring value, and good things will happen. You're going to have some takers. There's a lot of takers in this world. Okay, they don't bring value. They just are looking Okay. I was just at a conference, and there's a guy that I see at this conference, and every time I see him, man, he's talking to you, but he's not talking to you, right? He's not even giving you his attention. And there's always a hidden motive with some people. You have your radar out for that. Be nice to everybody. You don't want to make any enemies, but so that's my message. Prove others wrong, make it a great day. And my name is Michael Afito. Until next time, you're watching another episode of the Luxury Fridays. And check out our podcast, Luxury Listing Podcast. And make it a great day, great weekend. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.